We're taking a look at the attempt by various companies to try to come up with an iPad killer. But are the efforts falling flat? Should they even be trying? We're going to put that question now to my guest, Ed Baig. He's technology columnist for USA Today. And you've got one of these so-called or attempted iPad killers in your hand.
Emphasis on attempted, I think. This is the Juju, and Juju apparently is an African word for magic, but this is not a magical product, at least right now.
But it costs the same as an iPad.
That's right. It's $4.99, which is the same as the entry-level iPad. But even if it didn't cost that, you know, it's difficult to bring out a product and compete against Apple at this juncture.
So how are they trying to? Because this is made by a Singapore-based company called Fusion Garage.
Fusion Garage, and this actually has an interesting history. It used to be called the Crunch Pad, and there was some legal stuff going on that goes way back on this thing. So the idea behind this has been around for a while. In fact, tablets have been around for a while.
But they're like 1% of the market.
Yeah,
they just haven't really taken off.
That's right. That's right, and there are a lot of reasons for that. Apple, of course, changes everything here. It's not surprising you're going to see companies like Juju, and you're going to see a lot of bigger companies as well that are going to come at this market. So Google, of course.
Of course. That's the one we're all waiting to play with. So why does this fall short? I mean, it looks at first glance like an iPad.
Yeah, it's very similar. It actually has a larger screen than the iPad does. But as you look closer, it's not nearly as nice a screen. But the real problem here is the software, at least at this early stage, is just not very good. In fact, the company asked me to kind of wait and hold off doing a review because they're going to rev up the software over the next couple of weeks. Frankly, they're going to have to. Whether that's enough to let them make a dent here is debatable.
Well, what's always interesting when Apple gets into a business, for me, is that you see all these other little mini industries bubble up around it. You saw that with the apps around the iPhone, things like that. So competition can be good in this space, but are companies like Google or Nokia or other companies that are trying to come up with tablets competing in the right way with Apple? Should they be trying to create a parallel product, or they should be focusing on something different?
Well, I mean, I think they'll bring a different spin to it. I mean, the big thing that people talk about, critics talk about the iPad, that it doesn't do Adobe Flash, which means you can't see a lot of conventional websites video, Hulu, for example.
But how far does that competitive edge take you?
Well, it only takes you so far. I mean, that's what these guys are saying. Ours does Flash. Well, guess what? It doesn't do all the other things that the iPad does. I don't blame any company for competing in this space, because Apple, I think, you know, they do raise awareness, and not everybody loves Apple. I mean, you know, Apple is very controlling. Google will certainly take a more open approach that will invite developers in.
So Nokia said they want to compete in this space. We also saw some others. HP say they want to get in there, but it's really all about Google from your perspective, it sounds like.
I mean, Google certainly is the big one, if you will.
So who's got a real shot here, then?
Well, I think Google will have a big shot. We have to, you know, the proof will be in the pudding. We haven't seen a product from them yet. Indications are they're close, but again,
the bar's pretty high. 300,000 iPads sold in the first day.
The bar is very, very high. But you're going to see other companies compete here, and you know, it depends what that product turns out to be.
What do you make of this decision by Twitter to put ads on the site?
Well, we've all been waiting for them to come up with a business model. You know, Biz Stone, who's one of the founders, joked that Biz didn't stand for business model in his name. Well, now they have apparently now they have a business model. We'll see if it works.
Yeah, how is this even going to function? Are they going to look at what I tweet about and then target ads at me? Do I have to follow a company? How does this get to me as a consumer?
Yeah, I think they will sort of know ultimately what you're tweeting about, but initially companies, you know, Starbucks and Best Buy and companies like that are going to be buying keywords, and they'll pop up when you do a search, as you do a Google search. Exactly like that. Eventually, they will, I think, start to look at your tweets and see how they can make an ad that's somehow tailored to what you're tweeting about.
From your gut reaction here, is this the right path to be on to stay profitable? I
think so. Again, we'll have to see how well they execute it and if consumers balk. But you know, you mentioned 50 million. That's a lot. That's a big number, and I don't think people are suddenly going to stop tweeting because, oh my God, there's a Starbucks ad that's somehow coming at them. I think people are used to that. You know, we're all used to it with Google searches and other forms of online.
I think it depends on how you use it. You know, wire service versus, you know, personal information. You've got people like Kim Kardashian getting paid to tweet, so I guess
Yeah.
We'll see what that business model ends up looking like.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on and giving your perspective
My
here.
pleasure.
Ed Baig of USA Today.